Hello, this is John from the Punters Pal. As promised, I'm presenting you this short video. There's the report the other day that we did on low risk, high reward staking. Basically, I'll go through what we went through there and screenshots and everything, and some additional information I can show you. I'll show you better on here. Right, so first of all, this is horse race based. This is our lab, as it were, and £7.50 a month. I get no commission or anything out of mentioning it. I highly recommend it. It's where we test and devise all our systems. So with the each way system in mind that I told you about the other day, the first thing to look at is the overall picture, what it does. So to find that on here, I go to my HRB, I go down to my systems, press on that, click on there, and as you can see, we've got plenty of them. A lot of these are just in the experimental stage. 83 there's about a dozen we use, but this is the one, number 82 is the one we were interested in, the each way system. And you have a number of selections, a number of possibilities, and we want run query. This here, run query. This takes us. This is keeping a log of, as well as the historical record from January the 1st, 2016 to the present. Today is the 5th of April 2018. This is keeping an historical log of those bets, but just beware, this is win. This is how we back them. It's quite. I'll show you in a few minutes how it works out each way, but it's much more thorough on win horse race basis than it is on each way. So you can see 1,589 bets, 440 wins, damn near 28% strike rate, a 959 point SP profit, and that's to 1% of 100 point bank stakes. It's 1%, not £1 in perpetuity. £1 out of 100 staying at £1. It's up and down with the bank. Places 778. That's win and place. Careful, because they nearly all do that, and you can get mixed up. So, but this win and place, which is about half of this number, hence the strike rate of 48.96%, nearly 50%. You can also see that the Betfair, you backed on Betfair, you do quite a bit better than SP. In fact, over 200 points better, about 20% better. Unfortunately, with living in France, we can't get on Betfair, and we have tried with friends doing it for us. It just never works out. But you can see in SP alone, it pays fine. So if you look at the overall, this is win only, and it's how we back. We haven't bet them, unfortunately, since 2016. We only started betting them January this year, 2018. But this is what would have happened had we started betting them from January 1st, 2016. And regarding, because it doesn't show it on here, return on investment, you've nearly 1,000 points profit, or 900, let's say. To keep the maths easy, let's call it 1,500 bets and 900 points profit, or 900 over 1,500 over 900 is 160%. It's 9 to 6. So it's it's 15 to 15 to 9. Yeah. So it's nearly 60%, 160% ROI. Right, as far as each way is concerned, which is, as I say, we back them to win, but that's because we know, we know the system well. We devised it, we followed it all this time, we've backed it, we know what to expect. Losing runs don't faze us, we don't get carried away with winning runs, etc. But you though, for you this is brand new, so you're taking our word for it. You're taking us on trust, and it only takes a bad start to make you think, what's happened here? Have I been sold a pup? Maybe there's me, maybe I'm bad luck, maybe the system's gone off, all sorts of things like that. I know how everyone thinks. So we recommend that you back each way. And if you're not an each way backer, all right, I know I'm not, never have been. But it goes against the grain a bit. But I would at least start that way because the losing runs are so much lower. I'll go into that later on, but I mean you're talking of only around 40% of the losing runs for each way, or rather the other way round. The each way losing runs are around about 2.5 times higher than the win losing runs. But on the bright side, looking at the each way, so we've got a few less selections because obviously 400 races or less you can't back each way in, and you can see 423 wins, which is about the same, 28%. 761 placed, again win and placed. I wish they'd put that because it's misleading, because that'd be great if you had those two together. So you had about 1,100 winners out of about 1,500 would be great. But no, it's 761 win and placed. So that's the number of times you would actually draw rather than lose both stakes, win and place. And the SP profit is 11,491, which is extremely interesting. So, sorry, I forgot the strike rate is very nearly 50%, 49.22. So this is, I find, very interesting because this vindicates what I say about each way betting. So you can see 1,150 points, call it their profit for betting each way. Now we just go back to the win only. You can see there are 959 profit. Well, if we knock 9 points off that and call it 950, and we compare it to, sorry, I've gone the wrong way. If we compare that to, let's go back where we were. If we compare that to the each way, so we've got 950 and near enough 1150. So that's near enough 200 points, around about 20% plus higher in actual profits, cash profits, than betting to win. But I did say in the I've said in the reports, there's a price to pay for each way betting, and the price is not so much on. Well, in a way it is, because if you'd bet all these 2 points win, you would have 2 times your 950 points, 900 points. But you're buying peace of mind, you're buying safety and protecting your bank at that cost. But it's not a big cost because you're still making more actual profit than if you bet win only to 1 point stakes. So the point I'm trying to make is this: that for all your, let's look at the return on investment. This is 1149.51, 1546. For maths' sake, let's keep it easy and say that's 1,200 and that's 1,500. In fact, you have to double that because 1546 is the win bets. So you're looking at win and place. So let's call that 3,000, just to get the maths roughly, because I'm doing it in my head. and that's roughly 1200, let's say. So 1200 against 3000, let's use the common denominator of 300. So you've got, for 3000 is 10 lots of 300 to make up your 3000, and you've got 4 lots of 300 to make up your 1200. So it's the odds, so to speak, are 10 to 4. So you've got 40% profit back in each way, and that's on the total bet, the win and place bet, not the place only side of it. So the return on investment each way is 140% compared to 160% for your for the win part. So yes, that's the price you pay. You're actually, because the place part in itself is profitable, you increase your profits as measured in cash, but you reduce them as a proportion of your stakes. So your return on investment is lower than it would be had you back win, but your peace of mind and actually more importantly, the likelihood you will stick with this if you were to opt for it is much higher, because the losing runs are just so dramatically different as I will show you later. Right, which takes us on nicely really to the next point I wanted to make, which is the losing runs and winning runs, and you get that on statistics on here. Now, as you can see on the losing runs, I'll just explain it quickly. The losing runs, this is sequences rather than, I won't mix things up too much, but this is sequences of losers rather than per bet. But anyway, as you can see, the vast majority are 1 loser 88, 2 losers. In other words, the longer the losing runs, the less times it happens, as you can see. And round about 1 to 7 here, you can see these occur double figure times. These are common. They're the vast majority of all the losing runs. When you get 8 and over there, it's getting rarer and rarer. But the real bank killer is these two at the bottom here. These are these two outliers, because the next worst is 15. But you've got a losing run of 24, and you've got 1 losing run of 21. And that's out of our 1,500 bets, and it'd be less than that sequences, probably more like 1,000 sequences. So, but you know, they're going to happen sooner or later. So you have to stake to take that into account, which is why we recommend 100-point stake. Again, by the way, these losing runs are win only. So HRB is not great for researching each way, but it's the best that we know of. But there'd be a lot less. I know from probability that, and from studying this before, that with a 50% strike rate, that's what you would expect to be the highest strike rate over 1,000 bets. And you know, so basically it'd be more like the 24 would be the 10. So you got 10, 9, 8, 7. It'd be more like that. So I digress anyway. So but this is win. So these outliers are the problem. In fact, anything here, you look, there's one of each. 14, 15, 21, 24. Many of these runs are going to make you, frankly, going to put you off. I mean, even if we start having runs, especially in the 20s, early 20s, you'd start wondering if the system had gone off. But as I say, this is why we stake to. It seems daft, cowardly almost, to start with £100 bank and bet to £1. But if a system's going to do well, it's going to do well. And so all you're doing there is you're just putting your profits back, back to later. When you get them, you're going to get your profits a bit later. If it's a good system and it works for you. On the other hand, if it doesn't, you haven't risked much. And betting to 100 to the bank, even as we do, win only, is quite safe. Each way it's ultra safe. It'd be amazing if you ever lost any more than a third of your bank doing that. So these losing runs show you what can happen. It's only fair to warn people. But I mean, these are rarities. This is four times in 1,500 plus bets. So but you do have to take cognizance of that. On the upside, the winning runs. There's been 2 winning runs of 5, which have either or both fell on the same day. Given that 9-2 is the average SP for the each way system, you would have a nice payday if you'd done a multiple bet. So that's as much as I can tell you really about the losing runs. Now let's have a look at bank growth. Just bear with me for a second. Bank growth comes under this. We've done the stats. Bank growth comes under that stake plan. This you saw the other day. I sent you the screenshot, I think. But so let's look at this staking plan. I was saying we should, the one I advocated in the report. Low risk stakes, high return winners. We recommend a 100-point bank, which I recommend to start with £100, and we recommend 1% of that. And we're going to check them back, obviously, and we're going to check at official SP because that's just on the record. It's unlike Betfair and all the rest, there's no arguments, it's on the record. So we click, double check 100, 1%, back official SP, proceed, and as you can see, it confirms that 100 back official SP 1%. Now what I didn't show you the other day, I think, was this. We started, as I said, in January, beginning of January. We've gone back, I should say, checking this to beginning of January 2016, and it's produced, if you'd have reinvested all your profits, if you'd have back with 1% as the bank went up and 1% as the bank went down, you would end up with 562,171.58 pence profit. So you got over £500,000 there from your £100 starting bank. And pretty surprisingly, with £100 starting bank, we only ever lost 21p. So we must have had a lucky start, a good start, because usually you'd expect to be below the £100 starting bank at some point, but no, only 21p below ever. And if we look at the years, forget these years 2003 to 2015, we haven't even looked at. Past experience has shown us that within reason, the more recent the results, the more reliable the statistics. Within reason, obviously, you don't want to look at a few weeks or a few months, but we're looking at 2 years here, and this bit is the quarter. Well, it's basically from New Year's Day 2018 to now. So, just looking at the first year, 2016, that's amazing. From £100, it's gone to £14,396 and change.
So let me make sure my maths are right. Well, I'll have to do it in my head. I haven't got my calculator handy on it. It would, so that's £100. Let's call it 140,000. 140,000 is 1,400. That's gone up. My maths are right. 10 times is 1,000. 100 times is 10,000. No, it's gone up about 140-fold in that period. So that's quite amazing. Obviously, a very good year. And if that repeated itself this year, I'll be delighted. So, right, okay, so that's great. Now, were you? I mean, this is a bit crazy, to be honest. This bit, because very few people would have the courage, or some would say the stupidity, to play all that up into all that. Not only that, your bets would be so high, they would be, you're looking at 550,000 at the end of year 2, £382 and change. So 10% of that's 55,000, 1% is 550. So you're looking at 550 stakes. By that time, you'd be lucky if you could get on with a bookie, let alone if you were doing those stakes, let alone get 550 quid on. But if you were still going and you had the guts, you wanted a punt, well, you'd probably get 550 on at Betfair just before the off, when all the bookies are betting with each other. But to all intents and purposes, that's just to show the effects of the benefits of compounding and the 1% rolling bank. So me, I would have probably took 10,000 out of that 14,000 and odd. Played with a 4,000. That's about 40 times the 1,400. So you'd be looking at, if you just left the 4,000 and odd in and played and used that as your starting bank and kept rolling it up and down all year, you'd end up with about 160,000, which to me, end of year 2, 160,000, end of year 1, nearly 15,000, 175,000, about 80,000, 85,000 a year is not a bad salary, just for getting your bets and putting them on. So that is the how your bank would grow. Sorry, no, that's not true. That's how your bank would have grown, using the each way system. By the way, this is win only. Again, I'm not able to show the each way. It doesn't allow me to calculate each way on here what would happen. But obviously, the 1 point win would be the same, and you'd actually have a bit more profit from the place, 20% more from what we've seen so far. So I can't promise that this is going to happen next year, but let's face it, those figures are so good that even if it was only a 10th or a 20th, even as good as that, nobody would be complaining, I'm sure, and it's certainly not me. So that's about all I can tell you for now on here. And the whole aim was to, basically show you that the screenshots I showed you in the last report were genuine and from a genuine source, and to show you the power of the staking plan and why it's not utopian to think that a small bank and small stakes can turn into a lot of money. Now, how I propose we proceed is this. The 2011, we brought out an ebook called Fit and Fancy Jumpers. You may remember, I don't know how long you've been with us, you may and may not remember. We gave it away, I think, because it doesn't have a lot of bets, but it has a 46% strike rate and 118% return on investment from memory. And so it's a good little micro system. But the main reason I want you to see it is that it shows one of the principles, the main principle maybe, behind what we're trying to do with the each way system, behind the methodology, the conception of it, which is to do with quick returning horses, and how more and more their trainers are able to produce them to win after a short layoff. So I think the way we'll play it is this. The next time you'll hear from me will be a day or two's time. Keep your eye on your inbox. And I will send you this free system, the Fit and Fancy jumpers, maybe some explanatory notes. And you can see one of the cornerstones of the each way system. And have a look at it over a day or two. And then I'll send you another email where I will show you more or less the whole system. Not the whole system, because it's very difficult to keep on top of, because there are certain trainers involved that you have to keep updated, and B, I'll be looking to sell the selections from this system, so if I give the system away, having said that, if I gave the system away, most people would need us to update the trainers anyway, but I'll show as much as I can of the system, which should make a profit even before adding the final filter, and that way you'll have not just a reasonable guide, but you'll more or less have the system. And if you were to decide to buy the selections, subscribe, then on top of that, everything on top of that would sort of be a bonus, it'd be a big bonus, mind you, and it'd be worth paying for. But I'll leave it at that for now. So you'll hear from me in a day or two's time with the system, the Fit and Fancy jumpers, and then a day or two's time after that, I'll present you with what will be more or less the system, and you can see what you think of it, warts and all. As today, I've not held back any on the losing runs and all the rest of it, and you can make an informed decision on that basis. So thanks for listening. I'm not very used to doing videos, so you've stuck through this so far. Thanks for that, and I'll speak to you in a few days.